they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs at
Hi everybody, Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new in there, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Hope you have recovered from yesterday. Anyway, at the Carabao Cup, bugger. Because I really thought that was going to be our sort of, fail safe to get into Europe. Arguably, we've just got to win the bloody conference now if we want to be Europe next year. Because I don't think the FA Cup is going to be particularly the amount of clubs that have been knocked out. In every London club apart from Charlton are in the next round, I believe. The likes of Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, they'll be wanting to, have a run at the FA Cup as well. So this will be even tougher in the FA Cup. But we don't know what's going to happen. We've got the World Cup coming up. One more game. So we don't know what's going on. We know what will happen. We'll come back from the World Cup. Players will come back injured. Players will come back in form. Players would have rested. It's almost like the season start. Well, the season does start again, but it literally does start again. So it's imperative, I think. I think it's imperative that we'll have. It'll be what's the name. We need to be. On Saturday, a no-lose game. I think we can't lose on Saturday. We can't. We need to get something out of the game. So we'll see. It's one last hurrah. And actually, to be honest, I think the World Cup is probably coming at the right time in a weird way for us in terms of a break, because it needs to just start again. So we've got Darren, good evening to you. Helen, hope I don't think people are shocked going by the way we played this season. No, exactly. And again, I think the trouble is expectations. That's the issue. I think now it's about expectations. Moyes came in and in the space of 2.5 years, has changed the expectations of us as a club and as a fan base. So I think he's his worst own enemy, if that makes sense. So for me, you look at, for example, someone like, if he came in for that second time and he kept us up, and say the last 2 years we've been 12th, we've been relatively simple. We've had okay. It's been some stability, but the trouble is we got into the Europa League. We got to the semi-finals. We qualified for Europe in the league position for the first time ever in consecutive seasons. Last season we scored in every home game. The first time we've done it in the top flight since I think the early 1920s. And then he goes out and spends a lot of money on players. It's a little bit. There's slight Pellegrini vibes to it all. We spent about £200 million under the Pellegrini era, didn't we? In that sort of transfer window, the likes of Haller and Felipe Anderson, Fornals, Balbuena, Fabianski. It's yeah. So yes, I'm not shocked really, because we haven't won a cup for the last 42 years. So it's. Is what it is. But last year, penalties, it's one of those things that, when you get to penalties, it is a lottery, It's just a lottery, isn't it? I thought Areola went wrong every one of his penalties, apart from the last one. It went down to Ogbonna, and it is what it is. I think, all sort of 19 penalties up until then were really good penalties. But anyway, especially as all the London went out, apart from Charlton, as you say, indeed. Shame it's not a good one, indeed. Can't lose, are you sure? I think we can't lose. I wonder how Moyes will handle Saturday. Will he rest the World Cup? No, he can't. No, it's not. That's not his job. His job isn't to rest the World Cup players. His job is to put out a team. His job's it's almost the last chance saloon. Maybe some people may see on Saturday. So for me, he's got to go with his strongest possible side. He has to. There's going to be some weird scores, I think, this weekend. For that exact reason, there's going to be some players who are on the plane, who are going to be. Are they going to be holding back? just shows the mentality of the player, if they are or not, I think. There'll be players who didn't play, who didn't get picked. Maybe Bowen, we'll find out at 2 o'clock apparently today. He will maybe want a point to prove. They could be, I mean, the fact is, the squad is announced at 2 o'clock today, but he doesn't have to make the final squad until, I think, Sunday. So they could be, if there is an injury, and Bowen he might be the next one down on the list and the first reserves. So, there's going to be this weird sort of, all the Italian guys are Czech guys. None of them are going. Haaland's not going. So it is time to go, says Theo. At least we won't have to play the 4th round game. The 19th. Wow, we won't have half the side. Hopefully we lose just to get... No, Alex, that's not what... I don't want to lose. I never want us to lose a football game. Never. Because actually, we're West Ham and you want to win. So, I think actually I saw a tweet today, which Tom forwarded it to me, which really sort of like centralised my thoughts a little bit. The tick. Darius has got Moyes out. Simple. Someone said Moyes has gone from 8-1 to 2-1. So you got to think with who. I think part of that is Peter as well, with Huselos going, and I think the fact is Steve Cooper rather. He's very much up there, I'd say. So. Probably is. If you look down the list, I mean, if you look down the list, it probably is, in all honesty. This stats, it's sacking your statistically best ever manager for being 5 points off where you want to be after only 14 games in a transitional season with crazy bad luck that accounts for at least those points. People are completely lost in their reactive echo chamber. That is Twitter. And I do agree. I understand totally the Moyes out group. It's not group. It's it's not movement. It's there's two sides of the story. There's Moyes in and Moyes out. There's stick or twist, and I totally get the twist, guys. Totally, because it is. But I'm in the stick. I am in the stick at the moment. I am moving a little bit more to in the middle, sitting on the fence with splinters up my arse. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion, and same as you've got the likes of Darius here and various others who have met their opinions. I really can't see us getting anything of the game on Saturday. We'll see. We'll see that. I've got, for me, it's always Harsgard's fault, but we'll see. Expectation is one thing, but noise negative are killing the morale and having a terrible effect. But these tactics, we've always had these tactics. He hasn't changed these tactics. It's always been, when, even during the hazy days of our Champions League, we were always, we weren't an expansive football team. We were always sort of defensive first, counter-attacking. Always. We haven't changed. Occasionally we have a bit of a crazy period where we'll go and turn over, Wolves and Leicester and a couple of times at Wolves, I think, and Burnley, I think we turned to, so it hasn't changed. It's just, it's not working the same way it was. We've got found out, which we have. Irons, going from bad to worse, can't find any optimism. The players, Moyes brought on an upgrade on what we had under Pellegrini, apart from maybe, I think Kira is, mate. I totally agree. The top, I mean, you noted on the players we brought in a quality. If you lose on Saturday, get rid of him and get a new manager in. Who do you want, Theo? Realistically, because people say, Poch and Tuchel, are they going to come? No, they're not. We're not in that bracket of manager. We're not in that top 6 bracket, in my opinion. So who are you going to get? Let me know. I'll be interested to know who your choice is. But realistically, not even going to go to Leicester game. Not worth me to train fair from Staines. Oh my dear, it's never too good to get. It's never too good to go. It's not good. It's not good enough to stay up. If he stays, I honestly think 17th was best hope. I think we'll finish. I reckon we'll finish just out of the top 10. In all honesty, I think we'll have a bit of a run. Should have dived left and right then again, and he may have said, well, indeed. We're not having any luck. Last game deflected, 79th. I think a bit more luck. As reported that Bowen won't be in the English squad, no surprise. I don't think he will be. I think this World Cup was a massive distraction for a lot of players in the new teams. Yeah, but not for us. We've only got 4 players really potentially going. We got Declan Rice, we've got Areola, Paqueta's been selected. We've got 5. We'll have Tio Kira, he'll be selected, and then we'll have Aguerd. So 5 players, arguably 5 all first team players. All 2 predicted being found out and not willing to change. Think he's lost the dressing room. Bowen hasn't done enough to get to World Cup. Is it me? My screen keeps freezing. Don't know. I think it's a little bit. It's better now. All Bruin had to do was run at them first. Yeah, totally agree. Are scared to play in case they get injured. Yeah, but not for us. Not for us though. Surely we need a fast start. Maybe we need to give them a rocket up their motor. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's my view. I've got this. It's the tactics haven't changed. I think what's missing is that link, that experience, which we've lost. You look at our 2, as I said on the review show, that you look at our 2 relatively sort of stable periods. Say under Big Sam, we had a relatively success in terms of league position and stability. We weren't looking behind us. Bilic first season and the Moyes second era, the second coming. They've all had strong, experienced club captains. So Big Sam, Nolan. Bilic, Noble, and then Noble again for Moyes. Now that's a role you don't learn. That's a role you have to develop. You can't just read a book. And I think Noble coming back as sporting director could start having that. But he's a level up. So it's about the team spirit. Honestly, I just think that needs some more cohesion. There's too many new players, and if you haven't got that stabilising, it was almost like you'd want Mark for another season. This transitional season, you'd want him in the dressing room, bringing everyone together, and then leave, and then move up. But it isn't what it is, and so you just got to make do with it. Makes him favourite. Bookies make heard from Carragher at West Ham getting rid of Moyes would be ridiculous. All about opinions. Well, that's what he said. So when I was, I don't know if he said, I was asked to appear on Gary Neville's The Overlap in association with Sky Bet. We'll have a video of that probably maybe tomorrow. A little vlog and my little bit. You can go on now. It's on the Overlap YouTube channel. Part 2 right at the end because obviously we're West Ham, so we're not part of the Greedy Six. We get 5 minutes at the end. And they asked me the question about Moyes, and I said, I told them my opinion, and said that there is there's a swell of opinion for Moyes out, and Carragher says that it's ridiculous talk of getting rid of Moyes, but it's all about opinions, isn't it? Just like arseholes, we've all got one. Actually, thought we played well. I thought we played well as well too. I thought we played very well yesterday. Mancini, yeah, it's a good shout. Obviously. Could get the best out of Skamaka as well. It's a great shout. Deitch, I know he plays Lumpet, but so did Aladici. But that's part of the reason why people don't want Moyes, because of the football. So actually, are you just spiting off your nose? We're in a position now where we need a manager who's going to pull socks up. So that would be Davy Moyes anyway. So Deitch comes in. He would ruin people like Paqueta, but hey, we can tell out the crack now if we're winning, but we're not, so continually losing. That's it, Chris. I think we're not winning the games. Russ only said that Moyes out as this is the best score we've had since the '60s, and Moyes is ruining world class players. I don't think. I just think it's. I think there's a development on his part as well. He always played a certain way. He's always made teams really hard to beat, and we're losing by the odd goal. We're not getting turned over. We're losing by the odd goal. And as Ludders said, I thought yesterday we played really well. Actually, for really big periods of the time. I know it's frustrating because none of you, if you didn't go to the game, you couldn't see it because of no stream. But hopefully Anton's commentary made up for that. But we should have wiped the floor with Blackburn. But it's the players couldn't get the ball in the back of the net, and Moyes has not told people don't score. No, you miss. No, your job is to not cross it, is to miss the first man. in training they must be practicing, and stuff like that. But when it goes to the game, it just is totally different, and I don't understand. The players brought Moyes on upgrade, but we're playing the same tactics that suited other players, not these players. That's the thing. They need to change. Has taken us to the heights no one in our Premier League, and we have a rough stretch during the rebuild. We give up. Scott, that's my view. That's my view, similar to you. It's not the view of others, and I totally get that. But for me, it's like it's almost like we've exceeded our expectations of where we thought we were going to go. I think that on top of the move as well. This is the first time I've had any prolonged Premier League, success, so to speak, and the European success. People got a taste for it, and now they think we're going to go to the next stage. Personally, it was about consolidating, not running before you can leap, and maybe the investment was too much. Maybe, I don't know, but we all like the fact that we spent 180 million. You look at the players we bought on paper, fantastic. I said it on the overlap. We bought the Italian number 9. We've bought the number 8 for Brazil. We've bought the German right back. We've bought the reserve keeper for France. We've bought Flynn Downs, who's got had the highest pass percentage of any English player in the whole 5 divisions last season. We bought Cornet. We bought some really good players, but it's just not clicking. We moved the ball too slow. Totally agree. I'm not giving up. Scott needs to be Churchill in half time, but that's not his job, Pete. That's the trouble there. If he was part of the coaching staff, then he could give those. But sporting director, you're above the management. I get the feeling people are really stressed. Never heard the manager out during all the seasons. We were really struggling, but I think we were at that level, weren't we, Scott? So it's like we sort of don't forget we've lived through Avram Grant and people like that, and we were at that level, and we were sort of like, sort of yo-yoing, weren't we? And I think actually this period now, since the last promotion in 2012, is that our longest period in the top flight consecutively, I believe. And I think now our expectations are actually right. Okay, well, let's build. We've moved the stadium. We need to build, and I totally get that. But I think we're trying to go from 0 to 100 without going through the gears. And there is always some times where you hit a bit of traffic. We knew we were going to hit a roadblock sometime, and this is or a speed bump, and this is a speed bump. The way I see it, we always have one good season in 6. We've had 2 good seasons in a row. Very unusual for us. You can say that, Russ, but look at Ancelotti. Although successful, we did to bring the best out of the players. Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. It happened. Yeah, but the thing is, who's around? Mancini. Possibly Mancini. I think realistically, you look at it. I think you look who's around. Deitch. There was calls for Ralph Husserl. He's failed at Southampton. What's he going to do differently at West Ham? Sean Deitch. It's like Benitez. It's. Sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone. Sometimes the grass isn't always green on the other side. We've done it before. Slav. We got into trouble when Slav was manager after the sort of the heights of that season at the Bowling, and then you've got a situation where you've got someone like Moyes coming in steadying the ship. Then we go completely different. We get Pellegrini in, and that goes tits up, and then we get Moyes back in. He needs to take shackles off. I totally agree. Right. If you take Diaz out of the speed, the average comes down to 22. Fair play. Sit back, get the ball sideways, play some wingers, cross the ball, hit the first man, rinse and repeat. Need a proper captain. No. I think Rice is a great team captain, but it's a role for him, and that's why we've marked back in the club officially. I think that will really help him be that club captain, which is a massive step up for him. Pochettino, please. Pochettino's not going to come back to us, is it? And also Pochettino, in the Premier League, he won F all with Tottenham. He choked when they should have won the Premier League against Leicester. He choked at the Champions League final. And he didn't even win the first Liga when he went to PSG with some of the best players in the world. He lost to Lille and just winning the cup that year. Anyway, you were good, by the way. Didn't look out of place. Thank you very much. We'll have a video up of that. We played too slow. Right. How did Antonio and hit the post. Was it Ante? I can't remember. Good afternoon. We're notoriously slow starters and everyone knows it. You're right. That's the thing. You're totally right. At least we've improved our penalties. Totally right. I was surprised he didn't save any. I was very surprised because he was meant to be this. I thought he wasn't very good at penalties against Blackburn's B team. That's what everyone was talking about. Don't you think his team is good enough to be the top 7, though? It is. It is. Definitely. Is that Cornet the new Darren Anderton? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. Progress is never in a straight line. Very good. It's always the same comments. We should have wiped the floor of them. They were there. It has, yeah. It's the same, Graham. You are right. We are saying the same thing. It's not clicking. We know. Right. If you're not a chef with all the ingredients, you can't make a decent plate. Nice. I like that. Epic Cash is Moyes out. Dawson is the real captain. Even Pochettino, he'll be better than Moyes. He's positive and attacking. That's West Ham about it. This squad would intrigue. Would it though, Kai? I don't know if it would. I think you'd rather just wait and get the Tottenham job back when Conte leaves, or the Man United. I don't think West Ham would intrigue him. In all honesty, I think the players could, but I think with him, it's. Yes, we could play. I think now we're in a situation where I'd almost see this season out. I'd always see, for me, I'd see the season out with Moyes, and then reassess in the summer. Because I think now he may, Poch could play expansive football and be brilliant, and then we get turned over 3 or 4-0 because the players are just bereft of anything. I don't know. You don't know. It's ifs, buts, and maybes, isn't it? If it clicks, then everyone will say what happened. Totally right. I'd rather be in a European Cup instead of jumping into the champ and getting humiliated. That's what it means. Yeah, you're right, Storm. And if we, we could easily win the Conference League. We 7-7 in all conference European competitions this year. In terms of obviously the the playoffs and then getting in, and winning that goes into Europa League next year. So that's the only way we're going to get into Europe, I think, this year. In all honesty, I can't see us having a run with the FA Cup, particularly with sort of how we are at the moment. But anyway, look at those pigs in the sky, indeed, Peter. But you know me. It's Europe, for me, it's Europe or bust. I think I don't want to reassess in the Championship. I don't think I'm not worried about that at all, because I think there's worse teams for us this season for me. But it's about sorting it all out. Thing is, if we keep Moyes, what players will still be here? Well, we don't know, do we? Pete, Ralph, and we don't know, do we? It's good to say that you shifted that cold. It's still there, though. I still got a bit of a tickle, I'll be honest. Rice will be gone. Yeah, but I think he could be gone anyway, regardless of it. Unless you got into the Champions League, I think, but even, if we get to if we did win the conference, Peter, as you said, pie in the sky, maybe, pigs flying, all that type of thing, it might be enough. And I think, we've Mark back as sporting director. 5:00 tonight, I'm doing there's a couple of transfer rumours, maybe as in terms of replacements for Tommy Soucek. You could see we're not going to get last year was our best chance to get into the Champions League probably in our entire history, and we didn't do it. We weren't, and people say we could go backwards. We were 6th and went to 7th, but actually that's progress for us, and maybe even finishing the top 10. If we could finish in the top 10, I would be relatively happy with the season, because actually, considering what it means, we've had a bloody good second half of the season, or second 2/3. West Ham, a big club, they're in London, good squads, check money for him, and we've got the best fan base for Poch, by our own opinion, Kai. And let's be honest, we're looking at it through Claret. Yes, we're a big team. We are in London. We have some good players. We have the check money, but we're not glamorous. Poch is waiting for Real Madrid to come knocking, or someone like that. Let's be brutally honest. We ain't got Pellegrini. He's probably our most high profile manager we've had in recent history, and even we had to get him from China. So we'll see. Puts you in, indeed. It does. It does. We're going to Europe. How is everyone thinking about Conference League? Not remote for any more coming into the pitch. The Champions League. No, you're totally right. I finally got free lunch. Long time ago. Hey, nice to see Tom. Hope you well. Top 10, please. Snap your hand off for 10th right now. Indeed. Let's do the rumours. Not rumours. Let's do the ratings. So get Bielsa in. Are you sure? Let's have some fun and be relegated. That's the trouble. Now it's about, mate. I mean, I'm not worried. I'm not panicking about relegation at all because I think we've got enough in us. But I know what you mean. Lovely possibility, but you are fast becoming. There is. Well, that's fair enough, Graham. I think otherwise, the whole. What I try and do is there's other players, other people out there who are so the other way. And actually, it's just giving a bit of light and dark, innit? A bit of shade. Otherwise, you'll be watching the same thing. Everyone going, rah, 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 which is fair enough. But the idea is you can watch the rah, 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 or you can watch a different opinion as well. That's what we try and do. Anyone who thinks Moyes can win is badly delusional. Sign me up, Epic. I totally disagree with your point. I hope we don't lose. No, I totally do. Honestly, opinion, do you think he's gone if we lose? Possibly, in all honesty, just because as Graham says, maybe I'm more in the minority now. That's fair enough, you know. But it's whether I'm in the minority or in the majority, it's my opinion. Same as Graham has his opinion, same as Darren has his opinion, same as Epic has his opinion. We all have opinions here, and that's the whole idea of what we try and do in the network is give a balanced opinion. So, you know, I totally understand the likes of Epic and people like who want him out. Football's crap. We haven't played very well. You know, we're at the wrong end of the table. We've lost to BLACKBURN. We've been knocked out of the cup. And, yeah, totally get it. It's not clicking. We bought all this money. I think the worst thing we've done is probably buy all these players because it highlights it. It's the same thing happened to Pellegrini. You know, because that was the first thing someone said about Pellegrini. Oh, he spent £180 million over 200 million players on these players and they haven't done it. And that's the same as Moyes. But he's bought in quality, and it's just not. I just don't know what. I just can't get it why it's clicking. I'm out. Nope, no, I'm not. I am stick rather than twist. Happy anyway, pal. There we go. We can't afford a bucket for Bielsa after spending. It's related to Moyes, which is why he supports himself. No, it isn't. Do you think Skamaka and Benrahma are fed up with him? Can you see Can you see the way Moyes is wrong with them? Yeah, no. Look, I'm not blind to it. Benrahma is a fantastic player, but he's incredibly wasteful sometimes. And you have to you have to build a team around Benrahma. You can't give Benrahma a job like, right, you stay on the left, and that's your job, up and down. Because Palace exploited that. Vieira knows that Benrahma doesn't have a defending bone in his body really. So everything went down that right hand side, and they overwhelmed Cresswell. Skamaka, I know Skamaka is a fantastic player, but it does frustrate me that he gets played when we play one up front, when it should be Antonio's one up front and just running the lines and doing what he does. As soon, like the last couple of times, he's played two up front when Skamaka hasn't been on the pitch. Skamaka plays better when he plays with a partner or plays with a number 10 closer, Raspadori at Sassuolo, for example. I totally get it, but I'm just trying to get some little bit of a... There we go. Anyway, get Moyes out now, for it's too late. I've only got one more game, mate. It's a bit late now, isn't it? Agree, Russ. We don't need an echo chamber. Who honestly is talking about getting Europe from the league position? No, not at all. No, we don't. Who is the realistic replacement? I don't think there's a decent Mancini, possibly. But I don't know what his deal is with Italy yet. How many years he's got left? Obviously, they didn't qualify for the World Cup. I don't understand the defensive football. We played some really good football under Moyes over. We have, but it is a defensive first approach, though, isn't it? For me, I have no issue towards Moyes. In fact, he's my favourite manager. However, something isn't quite right. You're right. Something isn't quite right. Football's always been a bit, but we've won, as people said, because we won. It's like Tommy Soucek. Tommy Soucek would score goals, and no one actually saw that he wasn't a fantastically attacking player. He would lose, he would get in the way of things. He wouldn't, play expansive passes, but he was scoring, and we were winning. And maybe and everyone was a bit sort of like, the football hasn't really changed. The whole ethos hasn't really changed. It's just, as you said, not clicking. All these people we brought in, Mostly been injured, so mostly been playing the same team. You're totally right. Moyes has changed so much. He gave a chance, but now these players aren't ready. I just want to say a bit of tactical change from Moyes. Didn't turn up. It gave. I'm sure there'll be talks. My personal opinion now is, unfortunately, for him to go and try reorganise during the World Cup. I've been hearing on TalkSport that owners are waiting to the end of March for some paperwork to be there, and owners will be putting the club up for sale. Well, March is the cut-off point. March 2022 is the cut-off point when they don't have to give any money back to the LLDC, any profits made. But even that, at the moment, is negligible in terms of what they put in. Isn't great all the time, but don't you think Bowen should be taken off? Yeah, I do. He's always the one, and every season there's one player who's the sub player. It was Bowen. He was always on the bench or coming off. Then it was Benrahma. Now it's Skarmaka, really, which is wrong. Right, 30 minutes in. I haven't even done the ratings. Let's just do them. Let's just do them quickly. So these are my ratings. Obviously, a lot of you didn't see the game. So if you didn't see the game, I obviously apologise for that. I don't apologise, not my fault. I think we will do like a debate or give you a chance. I don't think we've got time today. But we'll try maybe tomorrow. We'll do a have your say Friday. So do come on tomorrow. Tactics not involving. We're being found out. Yeah, you're totally right. Being found out, mate. Buying for a shot. No. Right. Anyway, Areola. He was forced quite into early action early on yesterday, which wasn't great from Naif. He a stray back pass, a very unusual mistake from him. Unable to do the same sort of minutes later when obviously Vale came through, scored. I think it's his first ever goal for Blackburn. Almost conceded a second on the stroke of half time. Little soon in the second half, and obviously quite frustrated by the goal. Couldn't really have much to do with the goal, to be honest. Didn't save any of the penalties either. He did a throw, this sort of like discus throw, which is really good. 6. Put in the chat what you think the score's going to be. Your predictions, not your predictions, your scores for Areola. Obviously, appreciate a lot of you didn't actually see the game, but I gave him a 6 from my vantage point. Let's move on like Donkey Kong and talk about who's next on my list. Vladimir Souffl. Where's my notes? Return back to the side, playing sort of the wing back. Obviously, we played 3 at the back, which is a bit strange, but we did. Struggled in the first half, I thought. A lot of sloppy passes. They were getting a lot of joy down the right-hand side, their left-hand side, I thought. Dolan, who I've spoken about before when I was looking at 5 championship players, which is side, I thought he was really good, really sort of nippy and annoying and in the way of everything. Improved second half, I thought, but lacked that sort of impact. Again, it's the final ball from him. He hasn't improved. There was a cross he did, which took a massive deflection, which was probably his best move. But it was only because it was deflected, really. What we got here? We have got 6-5. Thanks, Ross. It doesn't take. Thank you very much, Darren. It doesn't take very long. You're totally right. Give it a like. I always forget to say it. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share. All that good stuff. We love to see it. Loads of new people. As I said, we had something like 1,600 people towards the end, which was absolutely crazy for the penalties. Vlad's one of these guys who really sort of frustrates me a little bit because, yesterday, why not Ashby? And again, it's that defensive first approach in terms of the team selection. That's the issue I get sometimes. That defensive first approach. You could have played Ashby. We know what we're going to get with Souffl, but getting someone like Ashby may well have just given a bit more. I don't know. 6-5-5-5-6 Vlad. Well, we did say on Monday there was a by Leverkusen. Well, if that's the case, even more so, don't play him. Get someone else to play someone else. I gave Vlad a 6. Average game. Let's talk about Benny Boy Johnson. Obviously, was left out of the 20-man squad for the game against Crystal Palace. Back in the side, playing right side of back 3 again. Blackburn got way too much joy down that right side, as I said, with Souffl and with Ben Johnson. He had to do a few clearances quite early on. Second half, he was better. But West Ham dominated the second half. I mean, probably about, and Ludder said, I think about 5 minutes either side of each half. That was basically Blackburn's purple patch. The rest West Ham dominated, to be fair. And we should have wiped the floor with them easily before BBD came on. Then BBD comes on and basically, unfortunately, Ben just handled him wrong. Out on the left, he let him cut inside, right foot. Twice. He did it about 5-10 minutes before the goal. Exactly the same move. And a bit naive there. A bit naive. And it's not like, as I said on the watch along, on the review show, it's not like we don't know who BBD is. He's been scouted by us for the last year. So, yeah. Actually played on Monday. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If that's, we takes priority. He did play on Monday for the under-21s, you're right, under-23s. What an opportunity, but he did play very well, if I remember. After Jan, we'll see. 6-5-5, 6-6-5. Moyes is ruined by moving him, and that's the issue. I've always said he needs... Ben Johnson, for the sake of his career internationally and domestically, needs to go to left-back and stay there. We have got no left-backs for England, really, that are not injured. So much so that Trippier will probably be on the left side for England for the World Cup. He's got Reece James, he's got TAA, he's got Trippier as well, he's got Laporte, he's got Livramento from Southampton, he's got Dage Spence, he's got loads of right backs competing for their England spot. Get on the other side, mate. After the Rich, hope you're well. I gave Benny Boy Johnson a 5. Not great. Not a good game for him. And he has some occasions. There's strange games that don't just work for him. Warburton mentioned the defence not stopping BBD. We know exactly who he was. Yeah, exactly. You're totally right, Kent. He's a victim of his own versatility, which is great for a tournament, having somebody who can play in multiple positions. But the fact is, he is currently playing. He's not. He needs to give himself a. I'm going to be a left back and stay as a left back. And actually, that could be quite useful because sometimes, like yesterday, we play a back three, and I think part of the reason we played a back three is because we haven't got another left back in the club. Emerson's not a left back, and so I wouldn't put him at left back. But for example, Ben Johnson, I could see playing left back. Anyway, again, third appearance from return of his ankle injury. He's in the middle of the trio, the back three. Almost gave him an early goal, to be a poor back pass. But Areola sort of helped him. He did return the favour by kicking it off the line. Blackburn should have scored, but Dola missed it. And just having seen my notes, second half was a lot better. Solid defensively. He's always good in the ball. There was a couple of shaky moments early on. Good penalty, though. He had a good penalty, I thought. 6-6-6. I gave him a 6 as well. Not his best game. It's probably his worst game for us since he's coming back from injury. In my opinion. IMO. Let's talk about Augie. He was captain. Played on the left of the back three. Fairly solid first half, in all honesty. They were getting a lot of joy down the right-hand side, not the left-hand side. Probably the best of the back three all night, I reckon. Did a lot of going forward again. Missed the spot kick. Went for power. Half a centimetre in, would have been fine. 6.5 for the disguised handball on the line. 6 got no VAR though. There's no VAR. Nathan got done for pace. I don't think. I don't think so. I just think it was about position. In all honesty, rather than pace. But yeah, fair enough. 6. Emerson plays left back. He's a left back. He might not be a brilliant one, but then Arthur Masuaku wasn't a left back as well. It's the same thing. That's the way I see it, Uncle. 6, 5, can't see him play. No, me neither. 6 gets a high 7. Wow, fair play, Kent. Very generous. Russie B gave him a 6. Gave him a 6. Nice to see you, Kent, as well. You haven't seen you for ages. Hope you're well, man. Emerson. Let's talk about Emerson. One of the few players, I think, to impress yesterday for me, going forward, particularly in the first half. We had a lot of joy in the left-hand side. They had a lot of joy down their left-hand side. We had a lot of joy down our left-hand side. Sort of like... second half, continued with that threat. Some inverted runs. He was all over the place. He was playing central midfield quite a bit. Going forward was good. Defending was okay. Got smacked in the mouth and carried on, then got smacked in the mouth again shortly before the shootout. Maybe he would have taken the penalty instead of Angelo. Who knows? But it was a good game, I thought, for him. I thought he played well. 6 from Matt for Emerson. I thought he played well. 7 or 8, I'd say. Really important defensive header to stop a goal in the second half as well. Yeah. Fair play. Russie B gives him a bum. 7. I thought he played quite well. But the whole game, to me, was a very loose game. There wasn't any structure to it. Do you know what I mean? It was very much chaotic. It was very hectic. It was the proverbial cup tie, end to end. No real sort of... There was no pattern. It was very much... very tricky. It was like no one could really get a... And I thought, actually, some of our players play better when it's so loose. I mean, we'll talk about Antonio in a bit as well. I mean, Lanzini's one of those players. A few more scores for Emerson. Lake and Palmer. 7-7 gets a high 6. Don't think he's good enough. Is this the final count? Not quite yet, Graham. I don't think. Had missed the offside for their goal. To be honest, I think our goal was a bit dodgy as well, but there we go. Lanzini sloppy for Matt. I thought our whole midfield was somewhat inconsistent. I mean, you know, this team hasn't... It's not like this team hasn't played together. This is our Europa Conference side, pretty much. And sometimes we looked a little bit like we hadn't played together, which was a bit worrying. He was composed. I mean, Blackburn basically were pressing us. That was their job. They were pressing us high up, not giving us time on the ball in the back. He played a few good through balls, particularly to Downs. Who had a cross blocked off Manzini's work. Took a really good penalty. Thought it was a good game for Manu. Thought he played all right, actually. I thought he played okay. 5-6 on his way out in the shadows for himself. Not been the same since injury on international duty. Russie B gave him a 7. It's fun, isn't it? Different opinions. I thought he was good. I thought he was stringing some passes together, which he usually doesn't. And obviously I appreciate probably the only ones who are commenting in terms of scores, the ones who are actually at the ground because you couldn't see it otherwise. So, yeah, I thought he played all right. But there we go. Just me opinion. Me IMO. Let's talk about Connor Coventry. Full start of the season for him. And gave him a great chance early on, didn't he? He clicked the ball back to his own defence and forced Aguirre to block the Blackburn striker's chance. Not his best game. Well, Lanzini, I thought it was probably one of his better games he's played recently. Not for Connor. Wasn't a good game for him. Improved, looked more comfortable in the second half, but wasn't good. I didn't think so. I thought I actually thought we had one too many central midfielders as usual. I think, you know, when he came off and brought Benrahma on, the game looked it was a bit better tactically. 5, not good enough. 5. 4, I'm afraid I don't think he had a great game. 5, we all know he'll be off even down, not Premiership standard. Yeah, probably. Coventry, 4. Russie B gave him a 5. Have I done that wrong? What's wrong? Oh, it's changed. Look, I've done the wrong picture. Anyway, 5. Let's move on. Like Sonic. Let's talk about Flynn. I have to stop myself because I keep calling Wally Downs and it's Flynn Downs. Unbelievable. Sort it out, brothers. Interesting enough, when he played Blackburn last year, he played as a centre half. Just thought I'd just say that. I thought it's quite funny. But today was in his much... It was a higher up midfield role, playing as a bit of a 10 again. He was sort of rotating with Lanzini. It's almost like Coventry was definitely defensive, and they were taking their time, flipping between the two, which was quite interesting. Made some really good forward runs. I really like Downs' energy. He's still... Although he was in a forward role, he's more a defensive minded player. So he does rather look backwards all the time rather than necessarily going forwards. But which is the trouble when you play him in the wrong position for him. I thought he played really well, real sense of energy. Okay in the second half, good in possession, more comfortable when he was playing in the more deeper role rather than going forward. Good penalty as well. Good penalty, I thought. Ball like hot potato, end up at Luton. Flynn man the match 8. 7 says Richard. Been great for us. Sounds like he was overrun yesterday. I thought Downs played really well. 7 or 8. Man of match shout, complete control. Downs has been the only good point of the season. 7-7. Detention from Mr. Bong. There we go. Russie B gave him a 7. Yeah, I gave him a 7. Not my man of the match. But yeah, 7. Let's talk about Fornals. Let's talk about Elbow, El Cockney. The Cockney Cazorla. I thought he was the best. I thought he was our best player yesterday. I thought he had so much energy and just so much joy in terms of he was getting through. Took his goal really well. Great improvisation. If you weren't there, if you saw the replay, Antonio had a really crap cross, to be honest. And he really did well to get his feet in the right place. Was always a bright spark, always trying to unlock sort of the defence. Continued good work into the second half. Comfortable on the ball, and obviously was taken off late on at the end. I thought he had a really good game. Second really good game he's had in a row. I thought he played really well against FCSB. And obviously selected himself for that game as well, which was really good. But this one, he just seemed to be all over the place. Absolutely brilliant. What we got here? 7-6. Sounds like he was in the game again. He was. It's fast becoming a bit scary. The players have to start gel with major trouble. I'm not worried about the R word. I'm not worried about that. But I'm worried about where he finished in the league. Because actually, and someone said, what will happen? If we finish top 10 and say we do get to the latter stages of the conference, maybe even win it. Who knows? That may be enough to keep certain people. And also to make people want to come to us again. That's me. 8, 7, should have stayed on the pitch. From the audio, he was all over the pitch. He was 7. Fornals, very good. 7. I couldn't see the other end, but people saw that, so he wasn't very happy when he took off. Yeah, I think he was a bit unhappy, but I think he was playing quite well, to be honest. Fornals 4. Nobody's happy about being subs. You're totally right. Russie B gave him a 7 man a match for me. He was my man of the match. Thought he was very good. Let's talk about Antonio. Where to start, Mikel? He was involved in both goals. Scored one, set one up. He had enough chances to single-handedly kill that game off as well. Chances which, if they fell to a certain Italian in number 9, we'd have probably finished that game 4-5-1. Although his strength, his goal was based on strength. I wouldn't necessarily say skill, but strength particularly. It was a good volley, but he got into that position. He had absolute run of their centre backs. He was pushing them over. He was all over them. He was dominating those centre backs, but there was no one around him, and they were too. It was just the frustrating thing was he'd go on a break or someone, and then he would drift off, and then someone else would go for a break, and it was a really frustrating game for him. He took his goal well, good penalty as well. Hit the post from a yard. Had a one-on-one saved as well. He had enough in that to have won that game on his own. Why does he take off the goal scorers? Well, he took off 4 now. He took off Antonio. Did he take off Antonio? No, he didn't take off Antonio. Just 4 nows. Scores, so he gets a decent mark, but for the replay, looked very, very poor. 7, 6. I'm out of faith with him. Now, I'm sad to say. If we had rather, we would have won. You're probably right, Scott, to be honest. But then he's not a striker. But then BBD came on and played left side. So he would have played a role which, to be honest, I think we sort of need a left-sided, a naturally left-sided player who cuts in on his right foot. We've got Bowen who's right, who cuts in on his left foot. So you'd want naturally something the other side. That's always an area I think we need to improve on. But just frustrated. 7, 6 going backwards since Skamaka arrived. 5, Rusty's so disappointed every game. Something wrong in dressing room. Something wrong in the dressing room. 6, Rusty B actually gave him a 7 because do you know what? He properly had a go. He properly had a go, but he just didn't have the. It's like an A for effort, but a D for application. Does that make sense? Sort of at school we used to have like A, and then you used to have number in terms of effort was the letter, and then the number was the sort of how clever you were or how well you did. So an A5 was the top mark. So he wouldn't get an A5. He'd get an A for effort and maybe a 2 for application, if that makes sense. What we got here is watch Bambi. That annoys me. That does annoy me. He's built like a brick S-house. And he gets pushed over. Like, you feel someone's toenail, from about 20 yards and he falls over. And actually, for me, it's like, yesterday he was back to his bullying self, but I think the referee let a lot more go than maybe a Premier League referee does. Now, I'm not going to necessarily go through the subs in any detail, but we had, obviously, Benrahma came on massive. People were really happy to see Benrahma come on with 25 minutes to go. He linked up with Emerson straight away and almost scored. We came alive when he came on. Went to 4-4-2. Which was great. Which was great to see. And created chances, caused problems. A great cameo for him it was. I thought he played really well. And he took his penalty very well as well. Skamaki brought him on and alongside, as he said, he had and Bowen as well. Both Skamaka and Bowen came on, and then we went to the 4-4-2 rather. Sorry, and Antonio almost instantly scored. Good penalty, a great penalty from Skamaka. Which why isn't he been taking penalties when we had him? But I thought he played okay. Some great again. But then what he does really well is his flick-ons. He's really but there was no one really around him to take the advantage of the flick-ons, which is really frustrating. And then Bowen came on, scored his penalty. Didn't really do anything. But someone who's thinking, right, okay, shit, I've got in about 40 minutes' time, we're going to find out who's in the England squad. He could have gone on with 20 minutes to go and gone, right, okay, I'm going to bloody show Gareth Southgate that I should be in the mix, but it's almost like he knows he was going to be picked. But anyway, was being held back a game by that and rarely got anything from the ref. I thought actually he was that's quite interesting, lads, because I see the opposite. To be honest, he could have easily blown up for the foul, which led to the Fornals goal. And actually, VAR may have well chalked that off because actually Antonio, I think, fouled the guy. And there's a few times where I thought he fouled and actually it was a shoulder barge and he got the better of it. It's interesting how people see different things. You thought he was held back. I thought he actually got more change than he usually does out of the ref. I don't think Benny will be on Sunday. Moyes don't like him. He will be on there, but it'll be Saturday we'll play. So on Sunday he won't be. Subbed on Sunday after scoring and 4 hours last night. Most of Antonio's goals are not pretty. He gets rounded out and resorts to other tactics. Now to take advantage. Can see 7-2 on formation. Russ want us to play 4-4-2. Be interesting. It would put the cat amongst the pigeons if we went 4-4. We know it's not going to happen. We know we're going to go 4-2-3-1, but I like it. Off I go. Scott's out. Might drop. Anyway, guys, as I said, I've got a dash anyway soon. But anyway, as I said, make sure you watch Hammer's Headlines tonight, which is about a few transfer rumours. as always. Trying to keep it light. And then we've got Old School Hammers with Budgie tonight. He uses it on a Wednesday, but obviously we played the game, so I think he's coming on tonight. I think keep an eye out for that. Tomorrow we'll have Happy Safe Friday. Come and have a moan. Live. You can dial in and have a moan, and then we'll have the press conference for Hammers headlines. We'll also have the Late Show with Iris Tommy, and then we've got the weekend, so we've got the watch along, match day morning, stat attack, tweet all about it, all that type of stuff, and then that's it for the World Cup. Not from the channel. We've got some ex-players lined up to talk to, and stuff like that. And just a general. There'll be loads of transfer news and updates on how the players are playing out there. And obviously, then we've got stuff like the friendlies and things. So it's loads. All right, guys. Thanks for playing a little less conversation. Indeed, a little more action, please. I expect us to have a lot more chances to be open game. Got to keep the faith. Fair enough, indeed. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. We'll probably turn up on Saturday. Well, yeah, probably turn up on Sunday because it's a Saturday. And take care, stay safe, stay warm. We'll also do a couple of draws for channel members. So if you want to become a channel member, hit the join button there. And we'll do that tomorrow at lunchtime as well. So take care, stay safe, stay warm. It's turned a little bit. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me. And if we should separate,